Hello and welcome to the VRChat Experience on the VR Pig. This episode is going to be pretty simple. We're just going to be covering the good, the bad, and the crashy of the Quest 2. Now, before we get into those sections, there's a little bit of discussion that does need to be had on what is playing on the Quest version mean, because even though I am referring to the Quest version, I more so mean the Android version of VRChat. It's just because the Quest 2 is the most popular headset at the moment, so it's easy to refer it as the Quest version, because even though I don't own a headset, own the Pico 4, I assume Pico 3 Link and Pico 4 works on there, and an update that is at the time of recording brand new and has not been released at all yet, but is in the works. They're making a complete mobile playable port of VRChat that you can play on Android-only cell phones. So, in the future, this video might be remade as the Android version of VRChat, but for now, it's the Quest version. And what that means is, when you make anything in VRChat, you can upload it to the servers using Unity. And Unity gives developers and creators the ability to choose what to make the file into, whether it's it will be used on PC or on on Android in the case of VRChat. So just because you make an avatar that you have on PC does not mean Quest users can see it, and even though it's kind of weird, vice versa. So even though your PC can more than well handle the processing power of the Quest avatar, you still can't see it because it was not uploaded for you to see. So, with that, let's get into the good of the Quest 2. Okay, so, the good of the Quest 2. Honestly, it's pretty simple. It is, at the moment, the cheapest option to play VRChat in VR. Now, that may change in the future, but at the moment, and especially when the Quest 2 first came out, so if you got in early, for the $300 price tag, it was the cheapest way to play. That's how, when I got in, and is for how much money you spent, get more enough than a quality experience. Now, there are some issues with that, which will be addressed in the other sections, but most bang for your buck. Also, it does have quite a few, honestly, interesting features that can't really get on PC easily. Because if you use any PC VR headset, you're just going to be stuck using whatever the controllers that came with. Like, for me, I'm using my Quest 2 connected to a PC, but if I were to record this standalone on my Quest 2, I could set my controllers down, and I'd have full hand tracking. So right now, you can kind of see it when my finger lays on the button, but I'm putting my index finger down only, and my other 3 fingers up. This, you see a claw. With finger tracking, you'd see it exact motion I was doing. Now, it is a bit wonky with how to move and stuff, but if you're literally just sitting from a mirror or talking to people, it gives you more ways to express yourself. And hopefully, I believe it's a limitation on Meta's end, not VRChat's end. Hopefully they have a way to bring that over from the Quest to the Quest Link on PC. Because currently, and this is another feature that is only natively included if you have on Android as well. With the latest update, actually about a few days before recording this, they've released native eye tracking. So if you have an avatar with, or more so actually a headset that has the capability to use eye tracking like the Quest Pro, wherever you look, that's what it'll see. And they even went back and made most of the fallback avatars automatically have a basic thing where even once you select location, you look left, eyes look left, you look right, eyes look right. Now, obviously, I don't have the money to test that, but from what I've seen of other videos and just their own patch notes showing it off, it looks like it works amazingly well, honestly. Now, again, those are like the main good points of the Quest. Does have its own limitations, but purely to what you expect for the price. More money you put into something, more money you're going to get out of it. So for $300 to $400, you'll be able to play the game, experience large portions of it, go to worlds, fun, but you're going to have limitations. And that's where we're transition into part 2, the bad. Okay, so the bad of the Quest 2. This I could rant for hours on, but I will keep it short as to not waste your time. So, big one, battery life. Base playing VRChat, especially if you have a lot of avatars shown, it's very intensive. Maybe get an hour and a half, 2 hours if you're lucky, but that's about all you get compared to being on PC with a tethered cable. Play for till you run out of electricity in your house. Now, there are ways around this, but they're not free. For me, what I used to do is I spent $15 on Amazon, got myself a linked cable that was Type-C to USB-A 3.0, that was 16 foot long, and I plugged into a wall outlet using a brick. And I was able to use that to play for, like, again, as long as I wanted, but the battery would still drain. So even though I played for a while, I got like 8 hours at one point with it, it still would drain, it would go down, to where eventually it would die, but it slowed it down significantly. So, there's that to think about, but there are ways to increase your battery life. Now, there are bigger issues, like mentioned before, limitations of the Quest 2. On Quest, again, a bit rough here because it has been a while since I played and I tried looking around and information change, but I believe max download side of avatars is 20 megabytes now. PC, I don't even think there is a maximum. I've had to download 150 megabyte avatars at times. Same things for worlds. I think Quest now downs up to 100. I've had to download, I think it was almost a gig at one point for an avatar. No, avatar, sorry, a world that I was playing. It's close to it though. And main issue that at least I experience as someone who plays on PC with my friends on Quest that suffers from having a decent setup but bad internet is, even though for them the avatar takes a minute maybe to load because it just download only 15, 20 megabytes, I have to download a 50 plus megabyte avatar on it with my slow internet. I'm standing there seeing the, I don't know what the official term, but like the gem loading avatar that you see. So again, that's not really a negative for Quest, that's more negative for being a PC player with a lot of Quest friends, but again, another point to it. And obviously on that with limitations, restrictions on what you can and cannot see versus playing on Quest and PC. The joke that me and my friends kind of made is to play VRChat, you gotta spend $300, again, this was at the time when Quest 2 first came out, so it was $300 to play the demo version of VRChat. Then you gotta spend at least an extra 1.5k to get a PC to play the full version. Because even though you have access to lots of worlds and some fun game worlds like Murder and Among Us, or go to Black Cat to hang out, or just Bee Club, or any other roller coaster worlds or horror maps like the Smile Room, which I did a video on, you don't have access to everything. Either because those maps are older, before the Android version of VRChat was developed, or they just can't be ported in their full form or at all to Quest. And that's the same for avatars. I have some avatars with some amazing features, and even though you can see them on Quest, they're missing a lot. I have one that has a bunch of toys and a gun and groan tube, sound effects, flamethrower, a working butterfly knife that you can flip around. And on PC, everyone can see it, but on Quest, all they see is the base avatar without any of the clothes, customizations, or anything. So, that is also, in my opinion, the main reason why I went from a Quest user to PC. Because I wanted to be able to see everything and go to worlds, because I happen to have a lot of friends who played on PC, so they'd go to worlds that I couldn't go to. So I got lucky, and for my birthday I was able to get a PC that I've used for the past, heading on a year and a half now. Almost 2 actually by this time. And I've used it to just about everything. Now, with my rant done, I believe that are the main negative points of the Quest. There's like some few nitpicky things say, like, about using it comfort-wise. A lot of stuff you can fix, and using it in games, and people say, control, whatever. Again, things that you can easily fix, move around. But like the biggest issue of them all is crashing, which we'll get into in the next section. So, crashing. Now, I specifically called out this as one of the main points of the Quest 2 because it is a huge issue that I ran into from the start. Now, if you watch the first part of the VRChat Experience, I did talk about how to fix that by going through in your safety settings and setting it to custom. But even that, you'll still crash at times. Just because you won't automatically crash when you join due to crashers. Too many particles or too many things go on. You can crash from that. Your headset gets too hot if you have a fan on. It's processing too many particles, too many people. Again, it can crash from that. And I ran into the same issue on PC, but I have a higher threshold than I do on Quest Standalone. And again, that's kind of the end of like the main point of this section. That is the end of like main faction points. Like it will crash no matter what, so make sure you realize that. This I'm going to continue though is more anecdotal evidence. I never happened to me, but I had friends and people who claimed, and this was about a year ago when I first got on here, that when you played VRChat, there was a chance that your system could not just crash, but it could fry your Quest GPU by having too many particles and go through. Now, I looked online, I couldn't really find that, but at least in lobby, there's kind of like a ghost story that people would say back when the Quest 2 was first out back in summer 2021-ish, like first 6 months of the Quest 2 being out. So again, I don't think that's actually happened to honestly anybody. Maybe in a few rare cases, but it is something that you have heard about it. I've heard those rumors too, and from my experience as someone who I've put well over, I think, big issue with the Quest 2 version of VRChat personally is you don't get to see the hours, so I don't know the exact amount of time I spent on the Quest 2 version. I believe I'm about 300-ish right now on the PC version. I have to double check. But Quest version, I definitely have over 300 to 500 hours because I spent most of summer 2021 and 2022 on VRChat talking, hanging out with people. And honestly, that's why I'm making this little series, to introduce people to the VRChat, doing these introductory bits to learn more about platforms, but then we'll get more into the people who play it, and that'll be fun. So, with that, I'm not going to do a whole outro cutscene bit for this, we'll just end the video here. So, see y'all, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to help or suggest anything, say in the comments, or join the Discord server. And yeah, if you watch from the start and you notice, we have had a channel rebrand, made a video about it, but we are now the VR Pig due to having the VRChat, the virtual reality experience just come up with 360 videos when you search it. So now, more unique channel name, and we'll be continuing from here on and work on making more videos. So, thank you, have a good one, and don't do anything stupid. Bye y'all.